percentage-wise, if you take what my credit limit was last week and compare it to this week, it's up 27.5%. I increased my credit limit by 27.5% in one night. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I want to talk about how I just increased my credit limit by 27.5%. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for a bunch of videos. Subscribe to my second channel for bonus videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. This right here is the limited edition DYDSS Christmas line. A portion of the proceeds are going directly to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. These are going away on New Year's Eve, so get one while you can. Grab a t-shirt or a hoodie of this design. Let's raise some money for the children with cancer this year. Try out some G Fuel energy formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. And of course, last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. If you refer one friend by the end of the month, just click the little invite button, send it to one person that you know. Webull's gonna give you either $100 or $200 worth of free Apple stock, which you can keep and hold on to, or you can sell and use that cash to buy something you would rather have instead. And you can then repeat that promo 9 more times. So if you refer 10 friends total, they're gonna give you anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 of free Apple stock. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. All right, so, man, it's been a while since I've hit this trail. This is where I originally started filming my outdoor videos. It's good to be back. So, today I wanted to talk about how I just increased my credit limit by almost 30%, 27.5%. Now, did I do this for any particular reason? Did I do this because I needed more credit? Did I do this because I plan on spending more money? No, no, no. The reason I did this was just for the simple fact of raising my credit limit. If you have a higher credit limit, the money that you ordinarily spend on those credit cards brings your credit utilization down lower. For example, if you have a credit limit of $100 and you spend $10, that utilization rate, 10%. But if your credit limit is $200 and you still spend that same 10 bucks, now you bring that 10% down to 5%, so on and so forth. Now, I have been in the process of building up my credit, ideally sky high, and I've done a good job over the last 4, 5, 6 years, potentially. I don't remember exactly when I started, but I went and got myself a credit card, and I'll do a quick run through of some of the credit cards that I have. I have a stack of 7 in my hand right here, as I showed in the intro. These are all of my credit cards. These 7 right here, I use 4 of them on a regular basis. The other 3, well, I guess I use 5 of them on a regular basis, and the other 2, not really so much. I'll do a quick run through in a couple minutes, but man, it feels good to be back on this trail. So I've been building my credit for, I think, about 5 or 6 years right now. I started with one credit card. It was probably the easiest credit card anyone could possibly get. I've actually never even heard a story of somebody being declined. It's a secured card. It's hard to be declined for a secured card because your credit limit is your own personal security deposit, basically. It's called a secured card, so let's just say you have a $500 credit limit. You put $500 in their possession because they don't know if you're trustworthy with paying money back or not. So if you fail to pay money back, they just take it out of your own money. So it's the easiest way to get started, and that's what I did, except it wasn't a $500 deposit. I believe for me it was a $50 deposit, and I was given a $200 credit limit. And that's the only credit card I was working with for about 6 months or so. And then I went and applied for a standard platinum card at the bank that I've had a checking account with for since I was like a teenager, right around the time I got my first job, need a checking account. So I went and got myself, after I had started the credit building process, gave it about 6 months, and then I applied for just a standard platinum card. So now I had 2 super basic cards, nothing special about either one. One was a secured card and one was a platinum card. Didn't offer any perks. It was just another credit building tactic of mine. Now, I don't remember what my credit score was when I first got started, when I had like no credit at all, or my first couple of months. But going from having 0 credit history to present day, my credit score is now over 800. It was 807 prior to bumping up my credit limit the other day. 807, and one of the credit cards had updated, and the credit scoring algorithm caught that and bumped me up by 1 point. Now, I increased the credit limit on 5 of my 7 cards, one of which I can't increase the credit limit of, and the other one I attempted, but they had said no, and the reason for that was because they gave me a credit limit increase like 2 or 3 months ago, and I forgot about that. So, too close together, they declined that, but the other 5 all gave me credit limit increases. But the first 2 cards I was working with, nothing special about them. I then went on to apply for my 3rd credit card. This was all during my first year. First one was a secured card, second one was a standard platinum card. The third one was a cashback card, because that's kind of what I was after. I just kind of figured that, well, if you're going to spend money anyway, why not, save a little bit, even if it's such a small percentage you feel as though it won't even make much of a difference. Believe me, it does, especially long term. So I went with a standard cashback card, another one from the bank I was using a checking account with at the time. This one gave me 1.5% back on absolutely everything, which isn't a terrible start. Standard cashback cards usually give you 1 to 1.5%. So that's the one I was running with for a little while. That while I only had those 3 credit cards, that was my go-to. I then took that original platinum card, the 2nd credit card that I had, and I upgraded it to another type of cashback card. This one giving me 2% cashback, which then became my new go-to credit card, because 2% is a little bit more than 1.5. So now I had a secured card and 2 cashback cards that I was working with. I then, I believe going into year 2 of the credit game, I then went and applied for my 4th card. And if memory serves me right, it was my Amazon Prime rewards card, because I already had an Amazon Prime membership, as most people do. And if you have an Amazon Prime membership, getting this card gives you 5% back on all Amazon purchases. And being that I have an Amazon Prime membership, I clearly purchase things on Amazon, so why not give myself a 5% discount on every single thing I order off of the site? So that's exactly what I did. So now I was up to 4 credit cards. A secured card, just to get my foot in the door. 2 pretty basic cashback cards. and an Amazon Prime 5% cashback card. A little while later, I went and applied for my 5th card. This was the Discover It cashback card. It's the green one that I used to always show off in my videos. Here, I have it with me right here. Let me just pull it out of the stack of cards. The Discover It cashback card. This one is actually really interesting. This card right here on screen. The Discover It cashback card. This was my 6th credit card. Or no, I'm sorry, my 5th credit card. The cool thing about the Discover It cashback card, which by the way, there are only 2 credit cards in this stack that I'm gonna recommend because of how versatile and helpful they've been for me. The Discover It cashback card is one of them. So I will leave a referral link in the description. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. You could just go and apply on their website. But if you use my link and get approved for it, we each get a $50 statement credit. And sometimes they'll even bump that up to a $100 statement credit. So we might actually catch it in time and get a little bit more of a bonus. But let me explain what the card is before you go and apply for it. The Discover It cashback card, this green one right here, offers you 1% cash back on absolutely everything, but they have a quarterly cashback bonus, which means it gives you 5% cash back on everything that falls within a very specific category. For example, the category could be grocery stores. So hypothetically, maybe January, February, and March, you get 5% back on all things grocery. Maybe it could be gas stations and restaurants for the 2nd quarter of the year. April, May, and June, potentially, hypothetically, 5% cash back at the gas station, 5% cash back at restaurants. Maybe the 3rd quarter of the year, it'll be wholesale clubs. So think like Sam's Club, BJ, stuff like that. 5% back at the wholesale club. And now that I'm saying this out loud, I don't know. I don't know, but you might even be able to pay your wholesale club membership with the card and maybe get 5% back. You'd have to verify that. I'm not 100% sure. And maybe the 4th quarter of the year, the category will be Walmart.com, Target.com, and Amazon.com. And these are all examples of quarterly categories that we've had. It's always something practical. It's always something useful. So they give you 5% back during October, November, December, holiday shopping and stuff like that. 5% back, Walmart, Target, and Amazon.com, the websites. Maybe it'll be 5% back on PayPal transactions. Maybe it'll be 5% back on this or 5% back on that. It's always something practical, and every 3 months, it switches. And the cool thing is, your first year with the Discover It cashback card, this one right here, at the end of your first 365 days, they match all of the cashback that you got. So all the miscellaneous purchases that you made where you got 1%, technically during your first year you get 2%. And all of the 5% cash back that you racked up during your first year, technically it's 10%. So think of it like that. Your first year with the card, you're getting 10% back on different categories that switch up every quarter for your first 365 days. 10% on something that's already practical to begin with. 10% back on something that would already be awesome to get a measly 2% back on. You're getting 10 your first year. And then 5 every year after that, which is unbelievable still. So if that's a credit card that you're interested in, it is considered more of a beginner card, so you don't need to have a well-established credit score. It's a lot of people's first credit card, actually, so it's not very difficult to get approved. I'll leave a link in the description. You and I will each get a $50, maybe $100 statement credit. So So that was the 5th card I was working with for a while. And I did everything in my power to max out the categories each quarter. To max it out, it's $1,500 of spend. So think of $500 a month, and you get 10% back. So do the math. Get $50 back every month, or $150 back every quarter if you max out the categories. And keep in mind, see, a lot of people, or should I say, a lot of boneheads, they hear things like this and be like, oh, you have to spend money and you're all excited about getting 10% back. Well, you could have saved 100% by not spending it. Absolutely true. But I'm talking about things that we're spending money on in the first place. And you don't have to go out of your way to max out these categories. If you want to, just to make the most of it, you know, if it's 5% back at the grocery store, and maybe you're not gonna be able to buy enough groceries for it to equate to $1,500 by the end of the quarter, well, then consider throwing in a couple of gift cards to that grocery store. Ring them up with the rest of your groceries and hit that $1,500 5% back limit, or 10% back limit. So that was the 5th card I was working with. Link in the description if it's something that would interest you. The 6th credit card is, or you know what? That's another one that I'm going to recommend. I'll save that for last. The 7th credit card that I got, which I'll be talking about before the 6th, I'll make this quick. It would be the Citi Custom Cash Card. This one's actually really interesting, and I refer to it as my gas station card. The Citi Custom Cash Card gives you 5% back year-round on whatever category you did the most spending in that month. So let's just say you let's just say you spent $500 on groceries this month, $20 at the gas station, $15 on this, $10 on that. They're going to give you 5% back on the biggest category that you spent in. So 5% back on groceries that month. Maybe the following month you do a majority of your spending at the gas station, only a little bit at a restaurant, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. Well, then you're going to be getting 5% back at the gas station. The month after that, maybe most of the spending got spent at restaurants. That's what you're going to be getting. Sorry about that. My battery died. Maybe I should have gotten 5% back on a charger. But point being is, with the Citi Custom Cash Card, whatever category you do the most spending in, that's what they give you 5% back on. So it's kind of like automated for you. And there's like, I think there's like 10 different categories: gas stations, groceries, restaurants, things like that. All of which are very practical. But I had noticed that I have different credit cards for different reasons. I have the actual 6th card, which is the card that I'm about to talk about. That is one that I use primarily for groceries. I have one exclusively for Amazon purchases. I have that one credit card that gives me 2% back on everything, so that's kind of like a miscellaneous purchase card. Anything that doesn't fall, or anything that doesn't work out in my favor with some of my higher percent cashback cards, I'll just use that one to get at least the 2%. So I have different credit cards for different reasons. I have the Discover It cashback card for whatever category we're in. So anything that doesn't make sense for any of my main cards, I'll just use that 2% back card. And the Citi Custom Cash Card, the one that I'm talking about, which I'll show you what it looks like if you're curious. It's actually it's a really beautiful card, actually. It's this bright, vibrant blue. Really nice looking card. I love the way that looks. So I knew that I didn't have a credit card that really made good sense to use at gas stations. And I got this card maybe like a couple days after I bought my new car. See, earlier this year, I got transferred for a promotion. So my, 8-minute commute turned into like almost an hour. So I knew I was going to be spending a lot more time in the car, and I knew that I was going to be spending way more money at the gas station. So why settle for 2% when I can get a card that I can use exclusively for gas stations and just use that as my primary, or really my only category, and get 5% back every month? So that's the reason I got that card. I got that card exclusively for the gas station. And now finally, the last credit card that I want to talk about. I have 7 cards. This was my 6th card. I did them out of order just because I wanted to space them out a little bit differently. But the last one I want to talk about is the Capital One Savor One. And this one just so happens to be convenient for a lot of different reasons, but the reason I use it is because it gives me 3% back on groceries, and it gives me 3% back elsewhere. So I said I use different credit cards for different reasons. This is it right here, Capital One Savor One. It's like a copper color, pretty cool looking. I have different credit cards for different reasons, some of which I get exclusively for just one type of purchasing. Like the Citi Custom Cash that I just showed off, I said it's my gas station card. Well, this one, I've always called this the date night card. Reason for that is because it gives you 3% back year-round on groceries, which is what I primarily use it for. But in addition to that, it also gives you 3% back on dining and entertainment. Now, when I say dining and entertainment, I mean all things dining and all things entertainment. So, for dining, this could be going to a restaurant and eating there. This could be takeout. This could be delivery. This could be fast food. Anything like that. You get 3% back. And then as for entertainment, anything under the umbrella of entertainment. Maybe you're buying tickets to a baseball game, or you're going to go to a concert, or you're going to go bowling, anything like that. An amusement park, all things entertainment. You also get 3% back. So it kind of makes sense for a date night card. If you're taking the girlfriend or the wife out, if you're gonna go, the classic dinner and a movie, something like that, you get 3% back on all of that. And by the way, the Capital One Savor One, if you choose to apply for it, again, I will leave a referral link in the description. You don't have to use mine if you don't want to, but if you want to use it, it's right there for you. If you apply for and get approved for the Capital One Savor One, this one right here, the date night card that we're talking about, if you spend $500 in your first 3 months, which is not difficult to do if you eat food and buy groceries, $500 in 90 days, they will give you $150 cash back. That's huge. It's like 30% cash back right there. Plus 3% back on what you were spending in the first place. So if you spend $500 on something that falls in that 3% cash back category, 90 days from now, you'll have 33% of your money back on something that you were required to purchase anyway, on something that everyone else out there is getting 0% back on. Just something to think about, just something to consider. As I said in the earlier section of the video, it doesn't sound like a tremendous amount, 2% here, 3% there, 5% there. If you add up all of the spending you do throughout the year, and you see how many, like, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars are being spent, and then you take between 2 and 5, or I guess if it's your first year with the card, between 2 and 10% back on all of that, do you have any idea how many hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars you're actually going to be saving? And by the way, the cash back that gets given to you, it does not constitute as income. It constitutes as saved money, as if you were using coupons. So all the cash back that you're getting back, the hundreds or potentially thousands of dollars, that is not considered earned income that needs to be reported and pay taxes on. No, that was yours to begin with. It was money saved, not earned, which is another bonus right there. So the reason I do what I do is because if I'm going to be spending money, I want to save as much on my spend as possible. If there is something that I'm required to pay money to have or to use, I want to save as much in the process as possible, even if it's a measly 2%. Here's a good example. The 2%, miscellaneous card that I use, the 2% cash back on just, random purchases that don't really make sense to put on other cards. That's what I pay my car insurance with. And I get 2% back on the car insurance that I pay. That's something that I can't escape. That's something that I have to pay for. So why not save 2%? Again, it doesn't sound like it adds up. Maybe your car insurance is only $100. The 2% saves you $2 a month. Whoop-de-doo, $24 a year. Maybe it's $200 a month that you gotta pay. Okay? Now you're looking at, closer to $48 a year saved. It doesn't sound like very much, but saving $48 here and $200 there and $150 there, maybe close to $600 over there. All this saved money, it adds up tremendously, especially when you're getting it from different sources like I am. Now, I'm not insinuating that you need to go out there and apply for a bunch of credit cards. I think normal people can make do with just 1 or 2. That's all you need. I just happen to consider myself to be a bit of a credit nerd. So I found it interesting, and I'm a builder at the end of the day. I like to build things. I like to build my portfolio. And guess what? As it turns out, I also like to build. I enjoy the building process of my credit score. I like watching it go from, like, probably, if I had to guess, I would probably assume, like, the 590s or the 620s or something like that when I got started. I truly don't remember, but it was probably somewhere around there, considering I didn't have credit. Building that into the 700s. Building that into 720, 730, 740, 750. Cracking that 760 mark. And the cool thing is, when you hit 760, that's essentially a perfect score. Now, you can go all the way up to 850, but there is zero difference between a 760 and an 850. I don't know why it's scored the way that it is. I personally believe credit score should be more like a test. Not a test that you have to take and see what your score is, but I think it should be 0 to 100. I think when you're starting from scratch, it should be a 0. Or maybe when you're starting from scratch, it should be like a 50, and if you have bad credit, it goes all the way down to 0, and you work your way up to 100. I think that would make more sense, but what do I know? I'm just some guy on YouTube. Credit score is anywhere between 350 and 850. But once you hit a 760, it's essentially a perfect score in terms of getting the lowest possible interest rates. So when I got my car earlier this year, this was my first time in my life doing an auto loan. Prior to this, I've driven cars, but I never borrowed money to do so. I did the auto loan because, as it turns out, my credit is so good, over 800, I get the lowest possible interest rates should I borrow money. And I had realized that I was like, wow, the interest that I'm paying on this is less than half of the average return of the stock market. And the opportunity cost that would come with putting 100% down and buying this car outright, I'd tie up all of that money in a new car and drive off not owing anything and have absolutely nothing left over to invest, which, by the way, I didn't even have enough to put 100% down. I could have put a majority down, but I didn't have enough to put 100% down. I knew going in that I was only going to put somewhere between 20 and 40. And that's exactly what I did. I think it was probably about 30 or 35. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I put a nice chunk down, and it was enough to keep the payments low, monthly payments low, but it wasn't too much to create a bit of an opportunity cost for me. I can continue to invest what I'm comfortable with and what I would want to invest without my monthly car payments really affecting my lifestyle at all. And the interest that I'm paying is so minuscule and dramatically less than what the market returns on a yearly basis anyway. It was just the way to go. I found that happy medium. And by the way, speaking of investing, speaking of that opportunity cost and why I chose to go the auto loan route so that I could use my money to invest and get more money out of the investment than what I'm losing on the interest that I'm paying on the auto loan, I just wanted to take a very quick moment to remind everybody to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. Just download the app, link in the description, and fund your account any amount. It's as simple as that. And if you refer one friend by the end of the month, or like 2 or 3 days from now, just click that little invite button, send it to one person that you know. They're going to give you either $100 or $200 worth of free Apple stock. It's as simple as that. Don't pass up on an opportunity, and you can actually make the most of this opportunity 10 times. Refer 10 of your friends, and they're going to give you between $1,000 and $2,000 of free Apple stock. Don't pass up on an opportunity, people. Webull link in the description. But anyway, I have since decided I'm going to start because I got myself a secondary job now, a new secondary job, and I decided that what I want to do with the paychecks while I'm waiting for 401k eligibility is I want to start making principal payments on my car, just to speed up the process of paying it off. Just because if I just added a new stream of income, I want to be productive with it and kind of just, eliminate those monthly car payments, even though it's not causing much of a headache. But anyway, that's what I've been doing with my credit over the last couple of years. I've been slowly but surely building and building and building up into the 760 range, which gets me the lowest possible interest rates, and then it just kept on going up from there. 770, 780, 790. I believe it was earlier this year, maybe over the summer, I hit 800, and right now I'm sitting at an 808, up 1 point from a couple days ago. And like I said, only one of the 5 credit cards that I got, or one of the 5 credit cards that I increased the credit limit of, only one has been updated so far. So I would imagine that when the other 4 update, my credit will go up from 808 to something a little bit higher. Maybe 809 or 810, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit higher, who knows. And the cool thing is, with the auto loan that I got, see, a lot of people, when they take on debt, it's harmful to their credit score. But my credit is so solid. My auto loan only dropped me down I think a point or 2. 1 or 2, maybe 3. It was so insignificant. It did not lower me under, or no, I think my credit score was 790 something when I got the car. But anyway, like within like 3 months or within like 3 or 4 months after I got the car, after I took on that auto loan, I climbed up to 800. So it didn't have really a negative impact on me at all. And if I were to pay it off early, usually that would be a detriment to somebody's credit score. But like I said, it didn't have a net positive on me taking on the auto loan. So I would imagine that paying it off early wouldn't have a net negative on me either. But that's the cool thing right there. A lot of people, if they had to get an auto loan, they're going to be, you know, paying higher interest. But being that I'm 760 and above, I pay bare minimum interest. And the same thing would go for a mortgage, by the way. A lot of people are paying more in interest than I would be if we bought the same size house in the same neighborhood, same price, same amount of money down, same insurance company, same everything. I'm walking away paying less because my credit's good. And it didn't cost me any money to build. Every single credit card that I had mentioned in this video, every single one, does not have an annual fee, nor have I ever paid interest on. Every single time I put money on a credit card, I pay it off within like 2 or 3 days. Whenever it shows up that I have a balance, I pay it off right then and there. If my monthly car insurance hits, I pay it off as soon as that balance shows up. As soon as it says that my my card was charged for my car insurance, I pay it off right then and there. If I buy groceries on maybe, I don't know, a Friday, Monday or Tuesday, it'll show up that I have a balance. I'll pay it off on Monday or Tuesday, right then and there. I don't wait until the deadline. I don't make minimum payments. Nope. I pay it off in full, on time, before it's even due, and that goes for all 7 of my credit cards. I have never once carried a balance on any of them. I have never once paid interest on any of them, nor do any of them have an annual fee. They're all free to own, free to use, and save me tremendous amounts of money in the short term via cashback, and in the long term via auto loan and one-day mortgage. Same thing would go for a personal loan as well, if I ever applied for one, which I can't really think of a reason to, but anyway, those are just some of my thoughts. And the 5 credit cards that I increased the limit of, I think 3 of which I was able just to do from the app, and automatically, just by clicking the request button, I got an automatic credit limit increase. The other 2, I wasn't able to do it from the app, but I called up the bank. I requested a credit limit increase on the 2 credit cards that I have with them. I got bumped up equally with both. And percentage-wise, if you take what my credit limit was last week and compare it to this week, it's up 27.5%. I increased my credit limit by 27.5% in one night. That right there, I consider to be unbelievable. And these 7 cards right here, I could now, if I wanted to, which I'm not going to do, I could now spend 27.5% more. I will not do that for obvious reasons, but there I go. So anyway though, if you guys liked today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel for bonus videos. If you're interested in either of the 2 cards that I strongly recommend, the Capital One Savor one or the Discover It cashback card, both referral links will be in the description. You don't have to use my referral links if you don't want to, but if you do, there's a little bit of a bonus there for us. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. This right here is the limited edition DYDSS Christmas line. A portion of the proceeds are going directly to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And these are going away on Christmas Eve. So you only have like 2 days left to grab one of these. If you want one, grab a t-shirt or a hoodie of this design. Let's raise a little bit of money for the children with cancer this year. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. Sugar-free, low-calorie, packed with a whole bunch of vitamins. Absolutely delicious. This is the Miami Nights flavor. It's like a pina colada flavor. It's my favorite flavor, actually. But like I said, you have over 50 different flavors to choose from, and you get $5 off by clicking the link in the description. And last but certainly not least, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. That's all you got to do. Download the app, link in the description, fund your account, any amount, even a penny. Still works, it still counts, you still get your up to 12 free fractional shares. And if you refer one friend, by the end of the month, click that little invite button, send it to one human being that you know. Webull's going to give you either $100 or $200 worth of free Apple stock, which you can keep and hold on to, or you can sell and use that cash to buy something you'd rather have instead. Webull link in the description, and you can do this promo 10 times. Refer 10 of your friends, and you're going to get between $1,000 and $2,000 worth of free Apple stock. Do not pass up on an opportunity. Webull link in the description. Everything is linked in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.